The championship fight had reached its final, brutal round. The crowd was on its feet, roaring for an upset.
Keep your hands up, Ren. He's fading. The belt is yours. Just finish him.
Ren's gloves struck like pistons. The champion's legs buckled under the relentless assault.
One more clean punch. I can already feel the gold around my waist. I'm so close.
I never wanted it to come to this. But if I don't act now, I lose everything. That's it. The fight is over. I'm stopping this.
A white towel sailed through the air and landed in the center of the ring. The referee froze.
What is he doing? The fight was mine. Why would he throw in the towel? This can't be real. Takeshi, you were supposed to be in my corner.
The man who had been his mentor, his guide, had just stolen the victory. Ren collapsed to the canvas. Ren made it to the locker room. The roar of the crowd was gone, replaced by a deafening quiet.
Years of training, and in one moment, Takeshi had torn it all away. The trust was a lie.
Ren, I saw it. Why did he throw in the towel?
He stared at the floor, unwilling to meet her eyes. Every part of him felt hollow.
Go away, Mika. Please.
Number. You were so close to winning. This isn't your fault. You have to know that.
But the words couldn't reach him. He was already sinking under the weight of the betrayal. The morning papers were brutal. One headline summed it up with cold precision. Former prodigy crashes out. Trusted coach ends fighter's dream. That night, rain soaked through his jacket as he walked aimlessly. Boxing was a ghost he'd never chase again. Months passed. Ren swept floors in the same gym where he once trained, now just a janitor.
Every corner held a ghost. The smell of leather and sweat refused to let me forget.
One evening, a crumpled flyer on the notice board caught his eye. Underground fights, cash on the line.
I needed the money. Pride was a luxury I couldn't afford anymore.
That weekend, he entered a grimy basement packed with a hungry crowd. The smell of blood and concrete.
My body remembered. The rhythm came back like a dark song I never truly forgot.
He dodged a wild swing and fired a sharp counter. The opponent wobbled, then crashed to the mat. A leathery hand raised his arm. The basement erupted in cheers, but none of it felt real.
A win, but it tasted like swallowing ashes. This wasn't the ring I had dreamed of.
He took the crumpled bills and walked out. The victory only reminded him of the title he had lost. As he left the grimy basement, a familiar voice cut through the cold night air.
I found you. Ren, what are you doing to yourself?
Making a living. What does it look like?
She pulled out her phone and played an old video. A younger Ren, fists flying under Takeshi's guidance.
That was the day I first dreamed of a championship belt.
That Ren still exists. He's buried under all this shame. Let him out.
He crushed his eyes shut, but a tear broke free. The wall he'd built crumbled.
I want to be champion. I want to prove that betrayal didn't end me.
He stripped off his jacket, wrapped his hands, and walked toward the heavy bag. Alone, but not empty, the bag groaned under the first clean punch. He was back. Ren found a shabby gym on the outskirts of town, a place for fighters with nowhere else to go.
Takeshi's drills still echo in my head. I have to erase that voice.
A wiry old trainer watched from the corner. His eyes narrowed as Ren worked the bag. The trainer approached, his terms blunt. No questions about the past. Just work. Day after day, Ren's fists became sharper. The old gym felt less like a tomb, more like a forge. His comeback fight was in a tiny venue. The ring lights flickering, the crowd's sparse grace. A single right hook ended it in the second round. The opponent slumped. Ren barely felt the impact.
This is just a step. The championship still feels like a distant star.
Weeks blurred into a string of quiet wins. His record grew, but the boxing world didn't notice. Yet in every victory, Takeshi's shadow flickered in his mind, an unanswered question burning. The regional tournament final came faster than he expected. Ren stepped into the ring with cold focus. A brutal left hook to the body folded his opponent. The referee's count reached 10 in silence.
Regional champion. Now the world might finally notice.
After the match, a young reporter pushed a microphone toward him for his first televised interview.
I'm here to reclaim what was taken. This belt is just the beginning.
In a dim apartment across town, Takeshi sat frozen in front of the television.
Him again. After all this time, this is not a coincidence.
The broadcast flashed Ren's name under a banner reading, "Rising Contender."
If he gets any closer to the title, people will start asking questions. My past will catch up.
The towel he had thrown years ago now wrapped around his own throat. A week later, a clip spread online. Takeshi, giving his first interview in years.
That kid was never championship material. I stopped the fight before he got hurt permanently.
Ren's jaw tightened. The tablet creaked under his grip.
Don't let him get in your head. He's just trying to protect his reputation.
Protect his reputation. He stole my future. Now his lies will fuel my fire.
He walked to the gym without another word. The heavy bag took the brunt of his rage.
Every punch is a word I'll never say. Every round is a step closer to that belt.
His coach stepped back, watching the young fighter tear into the bag with deadly precision. The bag split, sand spilling like the truth he would one day expose. In a dim apartment, Takeshi had no idea what he had just unleashed. An official notice arrived. Ren was granted a title eliminator bout, his shot at the national championship.
I've waited for this moment, but the venue listed made my stomach tighten.
It's the same arena. But you are not the same man, Ren.
That place took my dream. Now I'll take it back.
He stood at the entrance of the empty arena, the silence pressing against his chest. In his mind, a white towel sailed through the air, landing with a final thud.
This is where they celebrated my fall, but they'll witness my rise.
He turned away from the ring, his decision set in stone.
You are not alone this time, Ren. You have a whole team behind you.
The date was set. The same ring that shattered him would now become his proving ground. At the pre-fight press conference, microphones crowded Ren like vultures seeking a wound.
Your former coach Takeshi says you were never good enough. Your response? The ring will answer. I am not here to talk about ghosts.
Nika's hands tightened in the back of the room, but she didn't interrupt. In a dark apartment, Takeshi watched the live stream, his fingers drumming against the armrest. Later that night, Ren pushed through his final training session, sweat turning the canvas dark.
Every jab is a promise. Every hook is a reckoning.
At the weigh-in, Ren stared down his opponent without blinking, a blade behind his eyes.
He's focused, too focused. This is dangerous.
But the shadow behind the screen could only wait. As the countdown to the fight began, that night, alone in his hotel room, Ren stared into the cracked mirror.
You've already proven yourself, Ren. No matter what happens tomorrow, you are already a champion to us.
Ren pulled an old crumpled photo from his wallet, a younger him beside Takeshi, both smiling.
We were just a kid and his coach, but that coach sold our future.
Don't let him haunt you anymore. This fight is yours, not his.
Ren nodded, then deliberately tore the photo in two.
That chapter is closed. Tonight, I sleep without ghosts.
Good night, Ren. See you in your corner tomorrow.
Ren lay back on the bed, the silence finally feeling like a friend. When dawn broke, he would wake not as a victim, but as a contender ready for war. Morning light crept through the curtains, but a heavy knock interrupted the silence. Ren opened the door to find a small, unmarked package on the floor. Inside, he found a stack of betting slips, dated the exact day of his championship loss.
These were placed against me. Takeshi didn't just abandon me. He threw the fight for money.
The memory of that white towel falling surged back, now stained with greed, not incompetence.
All these years, I wondered why. Now I know. My trust was just a payday to him.
His hands trembled, not with grief, but with a fury so cold it could shatter bone. He shoved the slips into his bag. This wasn't the moment for revenge. The ring called first.
Revenge can wait. Tonight I fight for me, and for everyone he sold out.
He looked in the mirror one last time, the fire behind his eyes, promising a reckoning. Ren moved through the backstage tunnels. He knew exactly where Takeshi would be hiding.
Come to settle the score before the fight? You never learned patience.
I know everything. The betting slips. You sold my title for a payout.
It was just business. You were a means to an end. I did what I had to.
A means to an end. You destroyed me for pocket change.
Ren's fist drew back. The same fist that had trained under this man for years.
But if I hit him now, he becomes the victim. The belt will be my answer. You'll watch me take that belt tonight. And every time you close your eyes, you'll see my face.
He dropped his fist, turned his back, and walked away without another word. Takeshi stood frozen, a quiet dread spreading through his chest. The real punishment was about to begin. The walk back to his locker room felt longer than the entire climb. Ren's body trembled with restrained rage.
I saw you coming. You faced him. I am proud of you, Ren.
I almost hit him, Mika. Years of discipline, and I nearly threw it all away.
But you didn't. You chose the ring. That's the real revenge and the hardest one.
She pulled him into a tight embrace. For a moment, he let himself be held.
Redemption isn't about making him pay. It's about proving he couldn't break me.
He straightened his back. The trembling stopped. The walkout tunnel roared with distant crowd chants. Ren stepped forward into the light. Cheers and boos merged into a single wave of noise. Only the ring ahead mattered. He ducked through the ropes, his eyes already burning across the canvas at his opponent. The time for words was over. The referee gave his final instructions. The champion's glare cut through the tension. The bell rang. Ren pressed forward, but a sharp counter threw him onto his heels.
He's so fast. I can't let him dictate the pace.
The second round started with a barrage. Fists blurred in the white light. A thin line of red trickled down Ren's brow. The first real damage. The crowd was a beast now, roaring for the champion to finish the underdog. Ren's body remembered. He rolled with the punches. Survival over glory. A rib shot doubled him over. Air vanished from his lungs, but he straightened up. The third round ended. Ren stumbled to his corner. Blood smeared across his cheek.
I am still standing. That's all that matters. I can break him in the second half.
The champion leaned in, his words slicing through the mouthguard. Your old coach was right about you. Takeshi's name ignited something dark. Years of buried rage exploded inside Ren's chest. He swung like a man trying to kill ghosts. Wide, reckless, blind to the champion's counter. A straight right caught him flush, sending him stumbling against the ropes. The arena erupted in a bloodthirsty roar, hungry for his fall. From his corner, barked commands broke through the noise. Focus. Ren. Breathe.
But the plan was buried under a landslide of fury. Every punch was a scream.
The bell saved him. He collapsed onto the stool, chest heaving, vision blurred with red.
And then, through the static, he heard Mika's words. You chose the ring. That's the real revenge.
He lifted his head, the storm inside him quieting. The next round would be different. This break, his mind cycled through the torn photo, the slips, the miserable years.
I won't let that man poison my fists anymore. This fight is mine.
He breathed deep, and the fire turned from wild to focused. The bell sounded. Ren advanced, not with anger, but with deadly patience. A jab, a cross. The champion's guard cracked open.
Every clean hit is a step out of Takeshi's shadow.
The champion swung wildly, but Ren was already behind him, landing a hook to the ribs. The impact echoed through the arena, but the champion stayed upright, gasping. Ren pressed the advantage. A flurry of precise blows forcing the champion to retreat. In his corner, a faint smile crossed Ren's face. The fight was finally on his terms. Round 7. Ren's cross shattered the champion's guard, his body following with a delayed thud against the ropes. The crowd noise shifted. For the first time, a chant broke through. Ren, Ren. Takeshi's forehead gleamed with cold sweat. His knuckles were white against the armrest. Round 8. Ren hammered the body, left hook after left hook, and the champion's ribs gave an audible groan. By the 9th, the champion's legs quivered. Each step looked like wading through wet cement.
Just a few more clean shots. I can taste the gold.
Takeshi watched the champion stumble to his stool. The man who had once bought his betrayal was crumbling. The final bell sounded. Ren was ahead, but one clean shot from the champion could steal everything.
He's really going to do it. Everything I built, gone.
Ren raised his gloves. Victory was a breath away, but the final round would decide it. The champion came out desperate. A wild overhand right, catching Ren behind the ear. His legs buckled. The crowd thought it was over. A scream gathered in every throat.
Through the fog, the white towel fell again. And then Mika's voice. You chose the ring.
He straightened. A calm fury rose from years of betrayal. A jab cracked the guard. A right hook buried itself in the champion's jaw. The champion's arms dropped. Ren's final left hook turned him sideways. Eyes already empty, the champion crumpled, his body hitting the canvas with a sound that silenced the arena. The referee's arm swung with each count. Numbers swallowed by the stunned crowd. A final sweep of the hand. 10. The canvas was a graveyard for his past.
I kept my promise. Now watch me rise.
The referee seized Ren's wrist and thrust it skyward. The championship belt gleamed under the lights. Ren lifted the gold high above his head, and the arena detonated into a wall of sound. Thousands chanted his name. A wave that crashed against the steel rafters. Mika buried her face in her hands, tears carving through her joyful smile. Then the camera found Takeshi. Alone in the stands, his face crumpled, tears streaming without shame. A single tear splashed onto his trembling hands, the only currency his betrayal had left him.
You built my cage. Now watch me fly free.
Takeshi's shoulders heaved. The man who had sold his integrity for a bet now owned nothing but regret. Ren's glare didn't flicker. It was the final lesson. The betrayed had become the teacher, and Takeshi wept because he knew the truth. He hadn't just lost a fighter, he had lost himself. The post-fight press conference was a storm of flashbulbs. Ren sat with the belt across his lap. Then came the question. Your former coach Takeshi, what do you say to him tonight?
This is my moment. I could bury him with the truth right here. I thank him. He taught me the most important lesson of my career.
The room fell dead silent. No one had expected that.
Without betrayal, I never would have found the strength to become champion.
In the stands, Takeshi heard the words on the monitor. A fresh wave of tears broke.
He didn't expose me, but this silence is louder than any accusation.
That lesson is worth more than any belt. Thank you, Takeshi.
Takeshi stumbled out of the arena. A ghost of a man who had once been a coach. Ren walked through the backstage tunnel. The cheers. Now a muffled heartbeat behind concrete walls.
Ren, Mika rushed and threw her arms around him.
His team hoisted the belt high. Their laughter a quiet celebration after the storm. Later, the locker room was silent. Ren sat alone, the belt beside him like a sleeping beast.
I won. The world saw it. So why does the victory feel incomplete?
Mika entered and sat beside him without a word.
You gave him the only answer that matters. You rose.
I know, but I am still learning how to let go.
She leaned her head on his shoulder. They stayed like that, the quiet more honest than any speech. He stood up, slung the belt over his shoulder, and walked out. The night was quiet, but the future was his. Days later, Ren stood before his old gym. A rusted chain sealed the entrance like a scar.
This is where it all started, and where it almost ended.
In his pocket, a crumpled news article. Takeshi resigns amidst controversy.
He ran from his own guilt, but I am done carrying his burden.
He let the torn photo slip from his fingers. The two halves drifted into the trash.
That chapter is buried. The rest is mine to write.
He turned and faced the sunrise. Golden light spilled over the city skyline. For the first time in years, the smile on his face felt weightless. Somewhere far from here, a man would sit alone in a dark room, but Ren was no longer that man. He was the champion, and his story had only just begun.